Hello there, good evening. Thanks a lot for joining us in tonight's edition of Mountain Echoes live on DMRTV, Divine Mercy Radio Television. We are coming your way from Boya in Cameroon, Southwest Regional Headquarters. And every evening when we sit on this panel, we take a zoom at current issues that are affecting the nation and beyond. We give you a critical insight of the issues. And tonight we are going to be looking at one of such issues which has to do with politics. Now it has to do with the elections Cameroon that has just a month, I guess, from now to close its electoral register. Every January, the ELECAM, the board that organizes and manages election in the country, opens registers for new voters to enroll. And on the 31st of August every year, the ELECAM, Elections Cameroon, equally closes its register. So sometimes we want to wonder if nationals are aware of this information, if they are able to enroll just before those deadlines. And tonight, ELECAM, given the backdrop of ELECAM's declaration that new voters have increased on the electoral roll, we are going to be looking at the stakes that are involved as far as this is concerned, and equally channeling our own way of political education from this platform to ensure that every Cameroonian is aware of the right to vote. You're welcome to Mountain Echoes this evening with me, Jude Mbako Munyo. We already have our guests who are here on the platform tonight to talk this issue of election. And let us have this breather. When we come back, I introduce to you my guests for tonight. You're welcome back. First to my left, we have Sama Abang Mungwa, who he is a socio-political commentator. He equally has been very keen on the political happenings of Cameroon. So he's with us tonight to dissect the issue we are talking about ELECAM and elections in Cameroon. So, Mr. Sama, you're welcome.
Thank you, Jude. It's my pleasure to be here after a long while of a long period of absence. Congratulations for the job you've been doing so far and taking your media house to higher heights. I'm glad to be here again once more.
Thank you. And equally we have tonight, I know that it's never easy for us to have members of political parties, but he is here, given his dynamic nature and his openness to the press. Cyril Njomo. Cyril is a member of the Cameroon Renaissance Movement political party of Professor Maurice Kamto. Cyril, good evening.
Thanks for having me, Mr. Jude Mbako. I equally want to greet thousands of viewers of your media. And equally this program Mountain Echoes. I should start by extending condolence message to population of Douala neighborhood where following a house breakage. We have registered now close to 40 deaths and a number of injured. And all Mr. Bia and his government could do was to send a photocopy of a press release sending condolence messages to the governor of the littoral region. We think that at a moment like this, he was supposed to move there himself and be with the people, because when ELECAM, that we shall be talking about today, with the connivance of the Constitutional Council, gave him another mandate in 2018, we thought that he will be there for Cameroonian. And at a time like this, when Cameroonian really needed him to be there, Unfortunately, he was not present. We want to seize this opportunity to call on the normalization of treatment to the electorate, because they are our topic of conversation today. And politicians, when they come around, moving their votes, they should equally afterwards, once they have benefited from this free vote from the electorate, at least the minimum they should be able to give to them is attention. Talking of attention, I'm coming from a neighborhood in Boya here where we don't have access to electricity.
Which neighborhood is that?
I didn't come here to make publicity of quarters, but what I'm telling you is that we still find at the middle of cities in Cameroon, communities without light, going for 1 week, 2 weeks, and you want to hear, they will tell you today is pole, tomorrow is generator. They keep giving you words, and I'm trying to tell you that we are electorate. We vote these people into office, and we are here to ask them a social audit.
All right. So we'll definitely be looking into those issues in the course of the program. So let us kickstart this evening. Let me give you some few statistics so that we can start from there. On June the 22nd, 2022, that's about a year ago, Elekam board chair, that's Dr. Eno Abrams Egbe, in their second ordinary session for that year, made declarations that they were in June 2021, there were 6,900,000 plus voters. That's 6,927,859 voters. So from 2021 June to now, this June, he has declared that there are additional 225,879 voters. So from 6,900,000, we now have about 7,300,000 voters from 2021 to date, which according to him is indicative to the fact that there is an increase in the number of voters. So the statistics equally say that women, there were additional 82,900 plus women, youth just 1,600. No, youth are 160,000 rather, so there are more youth. Then the persons with disabilities, we have 231. So if we add all these figures together, Elekam is telling us that there is an increase of 4.46% of voters as far as Elekam registrations are concerned. And we know that over the years, we've been witnessing a decline in those who go to the poll. Let me begin with you, Cyril. From this appraiser, increase in voters, we have just 1 month to go. 7 million in a population of about 26 million now. We have 7 million registered. And the last presidential election indicated that we had about 3 million or so that actually went to the poll. What appraisal can you make from this package?
Thank you for bringing up those statistics. It shows that you did your homework and feeding us with accurate facts. And I equally want to appreciate Elekam for even having the consciousness to bring the statistics to Cameroonian before we start checking the veracity of it. So that 4.4% increase from 2021 to 2023, that takes us about 24 months. Voters registration actually open every 1st of January and closes on the 31st of August every year. That is known. And within that period, the Elekam board of directors are supposed to meet at least 3 times. Yes. And so the June session was yet just the second to the last meetup, where they generally meet and give us tendencies. I call this statistics tendencies towards which the Cameroonian people are responding to governance strength. In other countries, you will hear of midterm election, you will hear of the House of Commons, you will hear of the Senate. All those tendencies kind of measure the people satisfaction with the the governance policy or the incumbents, those who are managing affairs at the particular moment. So you ask me about the general appraisal, I will tell you that it's weak. 4.4% in 24 months is relatively weak. But I will not end there. I will tell you it is not only ELECAM's sole responsibility to register Cameroonian on the electoral list. It is the role of the civil society. It is the role of political parties that we are. And I want to take you back to the 6th of May 2023, way before the ELECAM board sat Professor Kamto on a public rally in Yaoundé while he was installing the party official for the Yaoundé, for the Central region. He actually called on the mammoth crowd. We were counting around 6,000 Cameroonians that pulled out from the nickel cradles of Cameroon, because they all came from the north, the south, the west, to gather at that event's ground. He was reminding them that CRM has a credo, peaceful change, and that our only chance to reach Etodi, to take over power, is through the ballot. We don't have any other choice. And since then, he remobilized his troops, telling them that everybody should get involved in educating Cameroonians in the importance of registering at the electoral poll. So since then, our party militants here in the FACO, in other parts of Cameroon, have made that their number one activity on daily basis, on weekly basis, on Monday, and we have monthly report statistics that comes up. Now, some people will be asking me, Cyril, when last were you on the field mobilizing Cameroonians to go and vote? I will wait that you should bring that question up before I tamper to answer. But what I should say is that truly the statistic is weak, and it's a reflection of what politics has become in this country.
All right. Cyril might be talking from the politician's perspective that the statistics are weak, but if we go by we have 4.46. A normal analyst would say we have witnessed an increase, given that since 2012 that Cameroon morphed into the biometric system, we have not witnessed such an increase. Voters' appetite is still a problem. Is this a sign somehow that we are going, in a very short while, Cameroon might be witnessing the issue of voters' appetite may be an issue of vote? Because that increase is quite significant to ELECAM. It might not be very much as comparatively to the figures we have.
I would rather not term it voter apathy, which is the correct literary or English language description. I'll call it voter disinterestedness. People are not interested. Now you're talking of a population, a global population of Cameroon as per UN demographic projections on the 1st of July, that the population of Cameroon is 28,647,293 persons. 28 million. That's UN demographic projections. And as authoritative as those statistics are, and you compare with, you are talking of 7,200,000 approximately
for registered
voters, allegedly registered members, 7 million, and which means we are talking about 1/4 of the global population. But if you go by the electoral law, the age, the eligibility to register and vote, that's electoral majority in Cameroon, I'm sure it's about 21 years, or is it 20 years 20. For you to be eligible? Now, if you look at the population, if you look at the demographic statistics, what proportion of Cameroonians are above voting age? What's the proportion of eligible voters in Cameroon? And then you compare now with the number that they claim that they have registered. We are still way back. Because if you look at the population of Cameroon above voting age, from 28 million, we are talking about 20 to 21 million of Cameroonians who are above 20. And then you have 7 million who are alleged to have effectively registered to vote. And you are celebrating? But let me take you away from there, Jude. What ELECAM does, because of the absence of credible statistics, ELECAM does continual voter registration without a revision of their electoral database. ELECAM keeps telling us we have registered 400,000 this year, for example, as per their statistics. But they do not tell us how many have been removed from the voter register because of death. They have never told us that. Which means that you keep accumulating statistics which are not reflective. Because we do not have a viable database. Yeah. Anything that has to do with the National Institute of Statistics in Cameroon, it is recently that they were able to be awarded a credible infrastructure that you think that, hey, statistics, which is the foundation of planning and development in every country. Look at the building they used to occupy just around the Prime Ministry, opposite the Ministry of Finance, as their head office. Thank God that a new edifice has been constructed for them. But it tells you how little importance we pay to statistics. Because you cannot keep telling us that the voter registration is increasing and the register shows an increase every year without you telling us how many are being eliminated, because it should reflect with the demographic trends. Since we do not have a credible statistical database to even report number of deaths and number of those who travel out of the country, to know that, okay, these people are no longer in our database, they keep giving us the false impression that the number is increasing. So which means you have a problem with updating. And that's why I say every electoral year they fail to understand, what they fail to do is a veritable revision of the electoral database. What's that ideal? They don't do. What's that ideal revision process? That is why I am coming in. The information you sent out as to reflect an increase of 4.46. It's not reflective because it only tells us comparatively from the number you registered last year and what you have registered now, but without telling us how many have been removed from the voters register because of death, which is imminent. Because we do not even know. That is why at the end, during every election, you still go to the police stations and you see names on the registers of people who died before the previous elections. You still see their names because nobody does a veritable revision. If you were to revise, that revision is not only limited to registration. It should include registration of new ones and the suppression of non-existent members. Because at the end of the day, you simply just tell us that we have 7.2 million registered voters, which includes names of people who no longer exist. And that's why I say that there is just a semblance of the work that is being done, but which does not reflect. If you were to go, if Elections Cameroon were to liaise with the National Institute of Statistics, which does not even have data, verifiable, credible data on the number of Cameroonians who have died over a calendar year, because they don't have, because we don't pay attention. But people don't declare their death. No, that's what I'm saying, that because we don't have a credible structure to institutional setup to report those things, we work on assumptions. And if you were to do a veritable revision of that database, the number of registered voters or eligible voters will be far less than 6 million. Far less than that. Far less than that. Because you keep just accumulating new ones without expunging the names of dead people, which is obvious. So what I think, it is not the fault of Elekam alone. It goes back to other accompanying institutions like the National Bureau for Statistics, which ought to like update that. Okay, for this calendar year, these are the number. It would definitely not be 100% perfect
accurate,
or accurate, but you expect that it should liaise with Election Cameroon so that we know that these are the names we have removed from the electoral because they are dead. How do you explain that you still keep going to election centers, police stations, and you see on the register, you still see names of people who died before the previous elections?
But it is also not an easy process identifying who has died.
No, that is why I say that it is so. Are you justifying the fact that they keep feeding us with inaccurate or information that does not reflect reality? No, something should be done, which means Elekam needs to go beyond the normal registration to get to the level of effective revision, which is not what they are doing.
All right.
As of now.
All right. Does that have any of a bearing on? You're talking about people's disinterestedness. People are not interested.
Yes.
How does the electoral register play on people's interestedness in the process of registration? I mean, like, he's talking about scrutinizing the list to see who is dead or who is out of the country. But how does that play on people's interest to register or not?
I think contrary to Mr. Sama, I think when I follow the press release of the director of Elekam, they actually show proof that there were some scrutiny that took place and that their office has been active. That was even of the president of the electoral board, Abraham
Egbe,
yes.
Doctor.
So yes, and I also follow one of our own lady here, former UB Vice Chancellor Njoma.
Dorothy.
Yes,
Professor
Dorothy Njoma, who actually officiate as head of Elekam at the level of the littoral. So she was explaining the process and how they spend most of their time in their local offices, scrutinizing the list and making sure that, as Mr. Samali highly landed, he said this activity cannot be perfect.
Okay.
So if there are cases of imperfection, I beg not to overemphasize on those imperfections. But now you are asking me, what if Mr. Sama was right, that the activity is neglected? Meanwhile, it's supposed to be a cradle to encourage new voters to have that zeal to go and register. I think that can just be a procedural discouragement. I want to take it from the inception, when Mr. Sama was talking about the age group. The public service in this country allowed every Cameroonian from the age of 18 to be able to enroll into public service. And some have benefited. When you take a body like the security, most people join army at 17, 18.
To defend the state.
The state. So if these people at 18 can already be included on the payroll of the state, and they are serving their nation, what stopped this same state to give them a voting right? Because you may like to know that voting right in Cameroon starts at 21. It's at 21. That 3 years, if you go and check the UN demographic projection, as Mr. Sama quoted as our source here, you will realize that a huge chunk of Cameroonian, very vibrant and active, fall within that age bracket.
Okay.
But they are naturally excluded. And that is why our manifesto with the Cameroon Renaissance movement is clear, that the moment we take over power, we are going to bring back justice to those peace-loving Cameroonians who are just begging that we have, since 18, that we are working and defending the state. Why is it that we cannot exercise our civil right, because you may like to know that voting in every nation is a civil right. So once I've said that, I want to tell you that the CPDM octogenarian machinery is well scripted to exclude potential voters. And so this statistics, as I label it from the beginning, relatively weak, or better still weak, is a technique that the CPDM uses to maintain itself at the helm of power. I may like to over-expatiate, but that doesn't really give us the stake that we want to deepen into today. The politics of the CPDM is a politics of exclusion. If not, how do you explain that the university has a pool of students, majority of voting age, but never a day will you see that environment used to mobilize Cameroonians to register? Because normally, because
the universities are political, and you don't.
There's not no mobilizing people to go and vote has nothing to do with a political affiliation. That's why I say the civil society, or are you telling me that the civil society, NGO, are now political? But it is their role to mobilize Cameroonians to go and vote. The church is another one. I'm telling you that if this thing was a national policy, if there was really a true intention for the Bias regime to bring more Cameroonians into the voting list, they will do that in the twinkle of an eye.
So, but this law is not about beer. It's not about beer. It is a law of the state, and it goes. What happens to CPDM if there are just 5 or 7 million people that are registered? The same population is going to vote whether for CPDM or for other political parties. So, why do you indict CPDM for not? If this age bracket is not voting, it is a disadvantage to all other political parties.
Of course, there you are putting me before my responsibilities, that instead of complaining of what is not done, we should be able to make use of what is done.
Right.
Like, we should not just be talking of surviving, we should be able to work towards success. And I totally agree with you. Just that in that process also, we are encountered with funds. Because mobilizing Cameroonians to go and vote will have meant that we have at least crossed our primary needs. I'm telling you that issues of water, drinking water, access to electricity, not to talk of prices of food material that have skyrocketed now. People are basically, when people get up in the morning, the first thing they're thinking about is what they are going to eat. It means that moving to election, voting a new councillor, voting a new mayor, voting whether local or urban mayor, voting a regional official, voting a parliamentarian, or even voting the head of state are secondary issues. But we that were aspiring power, that is why we answer President to program like this. That is why on our social media handle we spend time, because we must minimize our resources and maximize the potential. We believe that today with the social media, as we're talking, I just went through the social handles of Elekam. I discovered that they have a program that they launched, that they call it Café Média sur le plateau communautaire. Meaning they have reached a community station where they have a local program to be educating Cameroonians. They are also capitalizing what? On the resources they have at hand. But I'm telling you that this is an organ of the state that have over 4 billion budget every year. Within that 4 billion, money is allocated for sensitization. Money is allocated for transportation, logistics, and other facilities.
But we've been seeing their works on the field. Every other post around town, you find Elekam doing registration. Are you indicting Elekam for not being very active on the field?
Yeah, I'm somehow saying that the resources are not evenly distributed. If political party were receiving a kind of subvention or incentive
to do sensitization,
of course, to help them penetrate these quotas and be able to bring Cameroonian towards the closest polling station.
But
take a case like, for example, Boya. the Elecam office is very far from the neighborhood, the student residential area. We are talking about an office that is here, I mean, at 500 francs from the student residential area. So even when a student, when you are finally convinced the student that, okay, go and register, they say, okay, Mayor, I will go and register, but how about transport? Once I've given transport to 2, 3, 4.
You cannot continue. But how more than 300 and something political parties in this country? How do you allocate funds?
I can only talk about my own case.
All right. Let me come to you, Sasama. We understand that, of course, this evening we are looking at the increase in registration, and we are equally looking at the fact that it's left about a month for these registers to close. So we're also profiling, we're also struggling to see how we can inform the population out there to pick up their responsibility, which I think political parties should be doing, and at the level of the media, we should be doing. That's why we're on this platform, and we are looking at the stakes. Now, by the way, what is, those who are watching might just want to know why it is very important for us to have a high turnout on the electoral roll, why they should go out, why they should register on the electoral register, and why they have the right to vote. So if we had to tell them, the people out there, why they should vote, and then before we get now to look at those hurdles, let us first of all understand why people should really beat that uninterestedness which you mentioned earlier.
Let me come back to just make a slight correction. I think, unless my source is wrong, the voter majority age in Cameroon is 20 by the date of election. No, not 21, it's 20. And you asked him, or you hinted on a point that he raised, very important, that you disenfranchise
an age group, yeah,
of. You can establish an ID card at the age of 18, official. Between 18 and 21, how many millions of Cameroonians have we isolated? And that they can, I mean, between 18 and 20. How many millions of Cameroonians have you isolated? But who render services to this nation? That a young man joins the military at the age of 18 and is saving the nation with his blood, and he cannot determine who rules him. That's unfair. And so you even find our laws are not even tailored to encourage people to register.
All right.
If we go by that, okay, we accept that it is 20 for everybody. But let me tell you that the global trends of the change movement, the change generation, the never again generation are the young people who are into social media and electronics and technology. While the older people, those like me and above me, are comfortable with the status quo because that is where I get my bread. I have had a job because of this system. I have invested in this system, so I will not want to change. Those young people are those who are yearning for change. And you have already cut out. That is where I come in with Cyril. That you disenfranchise a chunk of that population which is unfavorable to you.
Maybe the
no. Allow me to talk. And that is why look at the demographic trends of the militants and sympathizers of these vibrant opposition parties. Those who carry the mantle of the philosophy and the ideology of these parties are the young people.
Okay.
Are the young people. Are the younger generation, because they are those who would not want to live again under the frustration of the older generation.
Okay, logically speaking.
Which means that if you take even the trends, okay, take us to next door Nigeria.
Right.
Let's borrow from them. You followed the elections of February and I think March, or is it February and May? February and March.
Yes.
Who were those who constituted the obedient movement? The young generation. The young people. Because those are the people who want a change at all cost. But the obedient movement was of the opposition. And so if you put in a law that cuts them out, you are doing more damage to your opponent than to
the
opposition. So it doesn't affect
the ruling
party and the opposition party in the same way. One suffers more than the other. That's my reading. Now, why should people register and vote? Well, I may say that you are putting the cart before the horse, because you would have asked us, why are people not interested in registering? But if you say so, fine. Let me to your line to give a pedagogic explanation as to why it is a civic duty. You use the word a civic right. No, it is not just a right, but it is a duty, which is almost a civic and moral obligation.
Because if you don't,
yes, because it is in the interest of the people of the nation that citizens register and take part in political activities. That's obvious. Because there are lots of philosophical explanations to that. When you do not get involved in political activities, politics would get involved with you, one way or the other. Because those who would determine your fate are those that you didn't choose, and those that, because you did not take part in choosing the right people that you would have wanted. And so, because society cannot operate in a vacuum, there must be leaders, there must be people to rule. It becomes an obligation, a civic obligation, a duty, as I said, for people to take part in elections, take part in registration. You lose the moral authority to complain when you don't even register and you don't even vote. Who gives you that authority to talk? When it was election time, you did not vote. When it was registration time, you did not register and you did not. Nigerians, during this last election, there was so much talk about get your PVC, get your PVC,
but
get your PVC,
even at that,
get your voter registration.
Even at that, the turnout was low in Nigeria, given that they have more than 270 million, yet there were just about 30 million who went to the poll. What could equally explain that? Is it the same idea of age?
I am not very versed with the age limit for voter eligibility in Nigeria. But that brings us now to the other issue, that voter disinterestedness, which has to do with we have seen enough.
Okay.
We have seen enough. We have done it in the past and it did not take us anywhere. Which has to do with the unbalanced or the imbalanced playground on which African politics is played. Which is what in most cases is responsible. There is just no way in any country, even in the most developed and advanced democracies, that you have voter turnout of 80%. It is rare. But again, when it becomes as low as 20-something%, less than 20% as we find in some African countries, Nigeria with a population of over 200 million people,
270.
and you are telling me of about 30-something million being who took part in elections. It does not sound well. At the time when they were expecting over 90 million registered voters, that brings us back to why are people not interested?
So, why are people not interested? Cyril, you are a member of the political party, a very strong member at that, and one of the places or the people that have been indicted, sectors that have been indicted, are political parties, because most often political parties rather do disservice to the registration process and campaigns. They are the ones who front the campaign to say, no, don't go to the polls because the party in power is doing everything to rig your vote. How engaged are political parties in Cameroon? We have 232 plus, or about 33. How engaged are they? Because if all these parties were to go out on the field, you are indicting BIA and the CPDM, but if these other parties were to go out on the field and do the job rightly, we'll have more people registered.
Indirectly, you are asking me why did we not turn out for the 2019 twin election?
And why are you people not doing campaigns for to increase voters?
As I told you, if you check my last comment about Cameroonians to go and vote, you will see that it's of recent. And also, anything we do in life, we do change strategy sometimes. If I'm not doing it personally today, it doesn't mean that I'm not sending people to go and register. Maybe in the years, people knew me. I was at the forefront of so many campaigns, and today I've chosen other tactics to communicate. As I'm talking to you, my friend in Gaoundere is doing on daily basis. He's a civil servant. He has a salary at the end of the month, so he can take some privileges to do certain things, which I might be having some constraints, realizing. Meanwhile, there are things I used to do. But now, if you're asking me, why should we, that boycotting an election isn't a way to tell Cameroonians that it's not necessary.
Of course, and that has had an effect to date. As we speak, many people still think that because, for instance, your party, Professor Maurice Kamto, called for a boycott, which to date, many Cameroonians, especially his militants, will not want to see any importance of going back to register.
The polls.
Are political parties not doing a disservice to what should be a national right and civil responsibility?
I think, following your logic, one might be tempted to answer with affirmation that, yeah, truly boycotting an election is a disservice to the electorate. But now, come to think of it, those who went in, there are 3 levels of judgment that one should be able to make midway, because we are in 2023. Election is to end, mandate is to end in 2025.
Right.
What has been the output? What have been the impact? At the level of the output, we talk about what have been their presence at the different organs in relation to the people they are representing. Have any political party of the opposition present at the parliament been able to move any single bill, propose? Have they been able to obtain any parliamentarian group? When it comes to their micro project at the level of their constituency, how many communities have actually felt their cry? We still have elected officials of the opposition crying every day on social media, like civil society leaders, like political parties that are not even represented, not even in the local governance. And so, did they actually go there to play to the dance tune by the CPDM? Did they went there to put an end to their financial struggle or alimentary struggle? Or they actually went there to bring answers to the social cry of their people? I think if we were to answer that question directly, the 2 first would be an exemption. I think they mostly went. The 2 first would be a confirmation, because the last one, there's no community in Cameroon headed by an opposition party that is doing better, or except you cite.
So means the opposition in Cameroon,
the few handpicked, who cannot count them, even up to a dozen, that are representing the opposition, either at the lower house of the assembly or at the upper house. Bia even loved them this time and gave them one from the CP, the SDF. That was all. And some few ones from other selected allies. 2 opposition was just SDF. What am I trying to say? It is no news to say that Professor Kamto served this regime and resigned in 2011. So he learned some lesson with this regime. At the eve of election, they will infiltrate your lines because they have the money. And so most of your lists, they will be the one heading those lists. We see them everywhere. And Kamto does not want to be part of that merry-making democracy. Though we believe that change will come through the ballot, we think that there is need to wait, because the patient dog always eats the fattest bone. We have that deep conviction that satisfying Cameroonian does not mean answering to their desiderata, especially those fanned by the CP. CPDM was the one lamenting on platform that the CRM is boycotting the 2019 election. Where have you seen that around the world? Was it 2020 or 2019? I keep mixing that.
18?
Yeah.
So,
No, I mean the local elections.
all right.
So once the citizen is pointing the finger towards the direction, be careful. It shows that their interest is towards that direction. And so the moment they started crying too much about our boycott, we saw that truly it was a good move.
Yes.
And those amongst our line who felt discouraged or who felt betrayed, at the end of the day, they actually showed that they were too much in the haste. And so when we talk of reawakening, because when they say CRM, renaissance, we want a new Cameroon.
I think people came second in the 2018 presidential election, and today you are still fighting. You still call your president that he was president-elect. I don't want to go into those polemics. But now, we are about 17 months to 2025.
Yes.
At the moment when we were looking at, okay, political parties with such credibility as the Cameroon Renaissance Movement should be the one to be on the front. Or are you waiting for the nick of time, the last minute, to start doing this very momentous responsibility of engaging Cameroonians to go to the polls? When do you start working? Because one of the problems we have with Cameroonian opposition is that they wait for the last hour, then they go to the field.
You, the journalist, you help actually dissipate those kind of erroneous message. Rather tell Cameroonians that it takes sacrifice to be on this platform this night. For somebody who is not employed by any service, and that the regime in place have done everything to kill any little business I started in this town. Yeah, because there are some of these things that we face on daily basis that you don't know. Yes. Before getting into politics, I had consultancy services. Not 3 months could not go without me having a contract of 500,000. But as soon as I saw my nose into politics and became very active and ambitious, all those contracts disappear overnight. And most of my friends don't answer my calls.
So that's a contributing factor?
What am I trying to tell you? The regime in place does everything to break your legs from every ramification, anywhere you can think. And sometimes they are individuals that because they don't just like your courage, they think that they can handicap you through those means. This is not a particular feeling. I'm telling you that almost all young militants of our party suffer this kind of double game that the regime play to make sure that we are economically weak and so unable to act. But just that issues of conviction, and that is where I want to call on Cameroonians to join talk with Mr. Sama, who talk about who are those yearning for change. They are the young people. Yearning means like being hungry and wanting to eat. Your intestine cannot be biting you that I want to eat, and you sit there and just waiting that somebody should give you food when you are seeing the food. That's why we come to platform like this, reminding them that, bro, you cannot be in a quarter, they come and lock your shop for local tax, because that's what is happening around Boya now. Almost every shop is locked. Then they don't understand that they are the one to decide who is supposed to be mayor. And I tell them that when I take over Boya Council, I'm going to make you part of decision maker. You will not just get up in the morning and see your shop locked. I will make sure that I call all of you, because we are moving out of a crisis period. Boya is regaining its normal economic life. But people just get up in the morning and they receive local council agent sealing their shop. And when I look at the provision of the law in the penal code, I saw that yes, the council is right. And anybody who unveiled that seal without the notice of the council have a judicial sanction. It is there in the penal code. But now, should we be punishing? Should we only use the cane method? I'm promising a term of office where all these little traders, because they are coming from a crisis-stricken environment, I'm thinking of an environment where I will call them. The council hall is there. Mobilize all of them. Tell them the necessity to be paying local tax, because when they get up in the morning at the same time and see that there are garbages all over, litters, They are not happy. So where do we get money to pay this company in charge of cleaning the town?
Okay, let me.
We take the money from them. So the difference I will be doing, I will have to emphasize on communication, and the only way for them to put me into office is to go and register. That is why I came here tonight.
Good. So
to tell them that electricity that they are not having in their quarter, it will be a forgotten story when I take over. That's what we are saying. But they don't need. The only way they can make it happen is with their voters card. Without that, I don't have any gun. I don't have any other means. People even told me that I'm not from here. That I'm not a backward child. That I cannot take over.
All right. Now, let us honestly, all those things you've advanced, those are promises that politicians give when they want to go into office. But the local young people out there, the youth, which you cited, the age group, they do not know all this. And one of the reasons that have been indicted is this issue of political education, which many people are unaware of what politics is all about, what elections is all about. People, when you pass an electum is doing their job, you will suffer all the things Siri is mentioning. You are carefree because you don't know what it is. Who is responsible to educate? How much education should we have for people to be able to adequately embrace this electoral right and responsibilities?
My students of advanced level philosophy will tell you that when I teach the topic, the utopia of democracy in Africa, why democracy is still a utopia, is still so utopic in Africa. One of the basic reasons, fundamental reasons, is the absence of voter education, the absence of political awareness, the absence of political education amongst the people.
Total ignorance. There's a huge ignorance.
There is a vast knowledge gap and ignorance gap as to what people are supposed to do and what they actually do. And it is not just at the level of, it is so general, from the youths right up to the adults. And when people think that registering to vote is a favor they are doing to the politician or the political party, you find that embarrassment where you encourage, as I heard Cyril say, you encourage somebody to go register themselves on the electoral register, and they are asking you, the politician, for money for transportation, as if it is a favor they are doing to you. Because the misconception we have, is it is a service you are doing to some other person, not to yourself. So they do not yet really see themselves as the first beneficiaries of the game of politics and electioneering. Maybe because a cabal has hijacked it and it is just for some people. And it can only change. We can only have a paradigm shift if we go back to the drawing board to include political education. And that is why the subject called citizenship education in elementary school and in secondary school level. If you ask me, the current 3 compulsory subjects in our Anglo-Saxon educational system, English, French, Maths,
yeah.
Very credible. But we need to go beyond that to include logic, which is critical thinking, and citizenship education. Let me just give you this anecdote. I invigilated an entrance exams, the recent entrance exam into police college, and one of the questions was asking children who are assumed to have had ordinary levels and were writing inspector to name 3 touristic sites in Cameroon. And the candidate whom I invigilated wrote Musangu. You don't know how that one comes from.
Oh my God.
Or you even find the the previous exam before this one, which they just wrote, they asked for 3 civil status documents. Civil status documents issued by the council, and a child is putting ID card, passport, and driver's license. Those are basic things in Form 2, Form 3 citizenship education. And that is why I say, those are some of the subjects that we need to make them compulsory, where children, where young people will be able to learn that partaking in politics of your community, even community politics, is not just a duty, should be an obligation. Take it down to school level. I'm a teacher, and you're trying to get children, which is a laudable effort by the government to introduce politics in school. This issue of student governments, prefects and the others, where they need to start moving around to campaign and solicit for votes from their schoolmates. And you find a good number of them who said, I don't want to hold any post. I'm not interested. So that education should start from there, so that you know that if you do not stand, if you, with all the good qualities, as intelligent as you are, as morally upright as you are, if you do not take that position and then govern well, a less qualified person would govern you, because society cannot exist in a vacuum. We must have a leader. If the good people do not take part in politics, the bad people will hijack it. And that is the message we should give our young people. That it is imperative. It is imperative for young people to get involved in. Because if the old people get disinterested, they have already lived their life and they are almost at what they say, quarter to. And they are almost at injury time. But you, the young man who still has a whole life to live, you are 25, you are 20, you are 22, and you become so disinterested when you still have 55 years of your life to live and die at 80, which means that you have mortgaged your future and the future of your children into the hands of vampires. And so would you have the mandate to complain when those vampires misrule you? No. So the message we should give people is, it is incumbent on everybody to take part. Because you will not also have that moral authority to complain if you did not register and you did not vote. And you end up being ruled by the bad and the least qualified. I think that voter education, let me tell you, I am not a fan of Honorable Cabral Libi. I'm not. But I think that we saw him coming from his own million, or what I was saying, 10 million, whatever. Well, he had a movement to it that he wanted to get 10 million, or was it 11 million Cameroonians registered. And we saw him still under civil society at the time, because he was not yet under PCRA. Yes, he was still running as a movement, a civil society movement to encourage Cameroonians to register. And that is where he was able to make a name. I don't want to get involved into the nitty-gritties of who was sponsoring him, where did he get money from, but that is the type of citizenship initiative, civil society initiative that we expect people who are interested in public office, like Cyril. It's unfortunate that Cyril may have the zeal to do it, but the financial means is not there. But some other people are doing it, but that doesn't stop him from doing it. Let me say that, at least for once, I see Elekam mobile registration vans attending funerals, where they know that there will be a crowd pulling funeral. They go there and they seek for space and they install their equipment and they register. You even see them at market junctions. You even see them at interquarter football festivities, which is what we expect. Which now comes to what I think Elekam should invest more on: registration by proximity. Don't sit in the offices and you expect the old woman from my 16
to come and
to pay
to your
her,
office,
to spend her money and come to
and
your
that
office.
That is what Cyril
Don't
was saying.
expect the man from Munya. Don't expect the man from Bojongo, which is under Boya, Elekam's office, to leave Bojongo and spend about 1,000 francs to come and register and then go back for nothing. Especially at the time when the system and the regime has used the instrument of poverty as a tool to keep people under servitude. Right. Because that is one other thing. What do I gain? The poor man who can barely feed would ask themselves, what do I gain by spending 2,000 francs from Bojongo to come and stand on the line and register?
Or simply just wasting 5 minutes by the roadside.
That is what, yes, good. That is why I expect that for Elecam to be more effective on the ground, they should adopt and actually enforce this, which they are already using, but not using very well, this registration by proximity. Right. Elecam, like in Boya here, they can choose to say, okay, for this month of January, we are sending our mobile teams to Catholic Church or maybe Charles Luanga, which is very populated, which has about 4 masses every Sunday. Send them there.
But do you really still think that, even at that, do you think that the people will be interested?
No. That's why I'm saying that one of the reasons why people do not register is the cost of registration.
Okay.
The cost, because I think of how much I have to spend to go register. And then the issue of election credibility. Again, as I said, people lost interest in elections because they used to vote and they didn't see what came out of it. And so I think we need to re-educate people, and the government has to win back that trust. It is in the interest of Elecam to make people win back, to win back the trust and the confidence that people have lost. Because if I tell you that one of the key factors why people are not interested in elections is that loss of credibility. Cameroonians lost interest in elections because elections became so dubious and so uncredible. And so as much as we encourage them, as much as we seduce them using political parties and citizen movements and civil society organizations, we need to also win back their confidence. If not, they would register, yes, and you are happy that you have registered 14 million, but on the day of the elections again, when they know that the elections are won in advance and won before the election date, it kills the game and it becomes impossible.
Right. So sometimes when people see Elecam, what plays in their mind, like you're saying, is that this is a CPCM kind of thing, and it already restricts them. I guess that is from the background we should think that some other political parties should be able to engage in the process of registration. So now, the law on election in Cameroon, section 5.2, indicates that members of Elecam, they are not answerable to any public or private authority. That's one. And section 6, article 2 says immunity is granted even in cases of flagrant delictal offenses or committed by members of Elecam. That already, if you read those two laws, it already shields Elecam in a way that you can't carry them to anywhere. They operate the way they operate. Laws also play a big role in restricting fairness in the electoral process. If we were to chart a better way forward, what would you recommend in this?
It would be that the board of director, president, and the general manager of Elecam shouldn't be appointed. Because once his appointment comes from the executive,
they are answerable to the executive.
It befits all that law. It befits the law. Because you cannot bite a finger that is feeding you, except you don't know. Before you swallow something, check the size of your anus. So once they are appointed, they cannot go against. But I wanted to emphasize, if you permit,
right,
on the credibility of elections outcome, because it is evident clear why people don't vote. It's because they have that conception that said déjà vu. We have seen that already. I already know who is going to win. Some people even tell you that, have you not seen the results? It's circulating everywhere on social media. Yes. But now, it's not because they tell you that your wife is a flirt and she's a mother to your children that you will not fight that she should stay home when you are there. I think Cameroonians have, there's that growing tendency of loose womb. People are not more holding firm into things. And one of my reasons for coming tonight is to remind people of the fighting spirit. It does not have to apply only to the indomitable lion. Everybody must learn how to hook on something like that
And if they are cutting, they should cut plus his hand. And that's what happened with the ballot box. You don't go and choose Mayor Siri to be your next leader, and somebody is jeopardizing over the ballot box over your eye, and you are looking at it. No, you fight your life there. That's why we say you vote, because it's a day that is generally a public holiday. So it's not like you are running somewhere to go and answer present for your work role or work whatsoever. That day is a public holiday, meaning that before leaving your house, you make sure you eat well. When you get there, you vote, you stand there. Nobody will dare joke with a ballot box when you see 15 hungry people standing outside. Nobody. And that's where I join Mr. Sama to say that this thing needs collective efforts. If you only look at it as if, oh no, if it's CRM that win, it's Siri family that will be fine. Did you tell people to be telling me that I'm not from Bakwere? No. But people have their mentality. So once they have labeled you that your hate is like this, if you win, it's you and your family, they now find reason not to fight for their vote. It's too weak to tell Cameroonian that I don't vote because election will be rigged. That's too weak. It's like, I cannot date this girl because she's no more virgin. That's too weak an argument. Dare and take a move, then learn out of the process. And I'm telling you tonight that in 2018, I personally, though I was out of town, but where I was, I made sure that I stood there the whole day. And at the end of the day, my party won there. Because we were 5 of us, so hungry. I mean, so hungry that the people felt you touched that ballot box,
you're in trouble.
We had our phone.
I remember.
And today we are living the digital age. Before you take over, we are living the digital age. When something is happening to you, dear friends, it might be in school with your lecturer, it might be on the streets with official, it might be in a public office with a scrupulous administrator. You have your phone. There are 2 gadgets on your phone that you should use for your security. One, the audio note. Pick everything that's happening around you that look fishy. Secondly, if you can put your camera, take the instant moment. My brother, today, the court is open to anything that has proof. You cannot go and you are complaining about something, being election rigged, or being abuse, corruption, or whatsoever vice it can be, without a proof, even an audio. And once the perpetrators know that you have a proof, there's panic everywhere. I might not get into how I have been solving my issue around the neighborhoods, but let me tell you, perpetrators know exactly what they are doing, and they know their victim mindsets. Once they tackle you and discover that you are not part of those weak or soft spots, they are afraid. So I want to call on Cameroonian that I don't want to hear that argument that I already know the result of the election. If we are talking about credibility, it will need people who actually can stand for themselves.
If you just have 1 minute.
If you have a voter's card,
yes,
and you cannot back your vote, it means that you don't even know what you are doing in the first place.
Cyril, because of time, I want to cut you, but I know that you're a politician, and at one point you even vie for the office of mayor, I think.
Yes.
That was in
1920.
Yes. Now you are a politician. Let us look at the laws. Let me give you 1 minute because we are soon leaving the studio. If we were to adjust something in ELECAM's operationality or its functionality, if we were to adjust something that will enable a level ground for political for elections in the country, where are those thematic areas you want to touch?
Of course, we have spared some of them here. The voters' age should be brought down.
Right.
Then where that issue that when in case of voting for the mayor, the younger person should give a chance to the older member, so that if they vote you and there's an older member, if the vote is slightly above, they will prefer the older member to you, because they will say you still have time to grow. Those disparities should be cancelled totally. A particular percentage should be allocated for young people and women, because in terms of demographic majority, they are the most demanding, they are the most wanting. So a considerable percentage should be given to them above 50. Then Professor Maurice Kamto and a number of political parties this very year tabled a reform on the electoral code. They were supposed to have a press release at the Yaoundé Hilton Hotel that was cancelled by the regime. But in that particular document, we said that once the officials of ELECAM are appointed, the chances of having an independent...
So how do we get them?
Through election. A plebiscite can be launched for political party head to vote. There are so many ways that they can seek popular opinion to make sure that the person who is there reflect the aspiration.
By also involving the civil society groups.
Yeah. So those are some of the indication that if we see the signals that if we
What about the Constitutional Council that declares the result?
It goes same. All the organs that are involved in election practices or process should be independent. It means they should have popular consultation.
But the law says so. Anyway, somehow we are about quitting the studio this evening, but I want to look at Northwest and Southwest regions that have been the bastion of the opposition, especially the Social Democratic Front Party. These areas have suffered, especially with the crisis, they have suffered hugely from registration. Now, what strategy, if we were to advise, what strategy can we do to upscale the registration process in these two regions?
That's difficult for me. It's like asking me to give a prescription for somebody suffering from a terminal disease, an incurable disease. So I'm a bit afraid, especially given that it's a peculiar case of insecurity, and so it'll be like asking me to prescribe the impossible. There, I'm afraid I may really have little or nothing to say in that dimension. But again, as I said, where I expect ELECAM to do much of the work, again, has to do with taking down its registration to the grassroots, do grassroots registration. And then I expect political parties, which are the main beneficiaries of elections, to do more work, much more work than they are doing. Because while the party in power benefits already from its incumbency and can easily dip its hands in some unorthodox sources of finances to finance their activities, opposition political parties do not have that luxury. And so I expect them to be more engaged with civil society organizations.
Okay.
Yeah, credible civil society organizations to encourage their militants and make use of the militants, their hardcore militants on the ground, to do registration for them and to do lobbying, those category of disinterested citizens and get them to take part. One thing which baffles me with our electoral law and our election practice in this country is why we still put a voting period from 8 o'clock, I'm sure, to 6 p.m. In next door Nigeria, voting ends at, I think it's either 2 or 4 p.m. Because they are aware of the fact that we are dealing with rural communities where there may be no electricity to count votes. But you see, in Cameroon, we deliberately shift election up to 6 p.m. and waste money to buy electric lamps and torches, which disappear after elections, and they have to rebudget for more. That could be to
give time for more people to vote.
No. You can create many more polling booths and polling stations. Reduce the number of voters per station. And
the time for declaration of results too. 2 weeks and 2 days in Nigeria with a population of...
That is why I say that you find our system. You find our system, and that boils again to the issue of an election mechanism that is done to favor some people already, mischievously done, such that some people already benefit.
All right.
We are seeing, and I think that we still have a long way to go.
All right. Our time is up. We indeed apologize that we cannot hear your thoughts go right through. Let me just give you 1 minute, because I know you're a politician and you are young, energetic, and vibrant too. Maybe if you went to say something to the young people, just something about yourself and to encourage young people to be like you in the political process. Just 1 minute.
Of course. Thank you so much, Mr. Baku. You have never refused me anything, and I really want to seize this opportunity to tell our young friends, the peace-loving people of Boya and the environment, that you actually have nothing in life until you start fighting for it. And when you are fighting, you must know that every human being has 4 wives. Generally, we spend time fighting for the 4th wife. Meanwhile, the first wife is the most important. The 4th wife actually are luxuries, cars, I mean, everything flashy. That is what every young person, as we are even making this program, if you check the audience, I'm not sure we can have 50% of young people. Fully. Why? They are running after the 4th wife. Everything bling bling. The 3rd wife, our body, we spend a lot of energy, especially for the female. In the course of the conversation, we decry the fact that their demography does not reflect on the volume of the register list, and it's because they spend a lot of time on trying to look good, trying to take care of their body. Meanwhile, they will discover that it's the 3rd wife. The 2nd wife, relationship, friends. People are so hooked into friendship, and they think that their life made no reason without their network and their relationship. But the first wife is the most important, and that's the only wife that you are going to die with. That wife, they call the wife your soul, your belief, that intrinsic silent talk in your mind. That is what made me to be different. I choose hardship over soft life. If you see me, everywhere there is hardship, I choose, because in the process of hardship, there are challenges. Because the city have closed down most of my business, I'm striving in other ways. I've always found ways to see that my activities are legal, and that secondly, I don't jeopardize other people in the process of seeking an ends meet. We have a lot of scammers in town because they think life is difficult and they think somebody owe them something. That's why they go stealing. We have a lot of prostitutes in town because they think they can fool people with their appearance. I just told you have 4 wives. At the end of the day, you are going with the first wife. So spend more time with the first wife, your soul. Make sure you have deep value, care, love, and have empathy towards people. Care, love, and have empathy towards people. You always see people fighting for you, just as you gave me this 1 minute. That is how you fought for me.
Amen. Thank you very much, brother. We know that the church equally has a role to play. I recall that in Nigeria, in the just end election, the priests were able to galvanize Christians that it is good because, yeah, there's the spirituality of the nation, but there is the political civility of the nation as well. So that's our own role we are playing politically as the church, to ensure that we keep our Christians informed on the political processes of the state, which they are part of the state. So I want to thank you immensely, Sama Abamungwa, for your time tonight. You are a socio-political commentator. Your resources and input were very important for this show tonight. Thank you.
It's my pleasure to be here, and I'll always create time to be around when I'm available.
All right. And to Cyril, you're fondly called Mayor Cyril. In your attempt to be mayor, we hope that you'll be one day.
Let's really hope so. Please permit me really great Yannick Funky that might be following us. It's my first time to be on his platform, and so I should seize the opportunity. I know he's following.
Right.
So thank you so much for all what you have done to us. We are praying for you and hope everything will be fine.
Great. So on this platform, we want to thank you all for watching tonight. I hope that tomorrow we'll be here again for another edition of Mountain Echoes. I've been your host, Jude Mbako Munyo. Have a blessed night in the company of more programs on DMRTV. you.